it's Corrine. Thanks so much for stopping by. Today I'm altering a vanity handheld mirror that I got from the Dollar Tree. And as you can see, it is silver, and I decided I wanted to paint it with some white acrylic paint. So I'm just pouring that in a Dixie cup, and I'm using this alcohol swab to just kind of clean off any oils from fingerprints or anything like that. And now I'm just simply using a paintbrush and painting it with the acrylic paint. I'm trying to get in all the little nooks and crannies, but I know in the end that this is going to be a shabby project, so it was okay if a little bit of it showed through, but it did cover pretty well. So I painted my first coat. I used my heat tool to help dry for me to go ahead and do a second coat. I'm not very patient when it comes to painting or drying, so I helped it along with my heat tool. And now I added some blue painter's tape to the mirror portion so I could go ahead and paint the other side. And I'm making sure to go around all the edges and again try and get in all those nooks and crannies. If you wanted to, you could let some of the silver show through. I didn't want to at this. So once I've dried that, I did 2 coats on both sides. I took it outside and I sprayed it with this Mod Podge Gloss. It also comes in a matte finish, but I used the gloss finish and let that dry. And now I can get to the fun part, which is embellishing it. I'm using some Fabri-Tac by Beacon, and I'm going to add this white pearl string from Wild Orchid Crafts, and going around in this oval shape, you can't do it in one continuous string or one continuous line. It just won't lay right. So I'm cutting a little at a time. I'm not counting. I'm just kind of cutting 3 or 4 sections at a time and going around the outside of the mirror. I don't worry about the very end there because I know that I'm going to be adding some flowers, which would cover it up anyways. So if you've followed me for any length of time, you know that I absolutely love Wild Orchid Crafts. I love to just pull out all my products and just kind of see what goes together and what works well together. For this project, I wanted it to be very soft. My idea was that this will go in a little girl's room, maybe on her dresser. This would be great in to coordinate with a baby's room as well, whatever the colors are in the baby's room. But again, I wanted to keep this soft, and I pulled out these green and pink rose leaves, which I love, but I didn't like that they gave too much contrast to the color scheme I was going for. So I just stuck with the white leaves, and I'm tucking a few here and there. I'm using both Fabri-Tac and hot glue because I want the hot glue to adhere it immediately. I don't want to have to worry about it moving around on me, but I know that the Fabri-Tac will withstand time on this. I don't have to worry about the flowers coming off in the future. So I added a really pretty gardenia to it. It's a two-tone baby pink and ivory one, and then I added some mist open roses. I also added some white and baby pink center wild roses. Those are probably, if I had to choose one flower, those are probably my favorite, the white and baby pink center wild rose. They're so soft and they go with so many different things. Here you see that I pulled out some crystal gems. They're called pink crystal drops on silver stems, and I'm showing you up close how pretty those look tucked in. I was going to leave them on the stems at first, but then I cut them all apart and just tucked them here and there. And Wild Orchid Crafts has several different colors to choose from. They're such a pretty addition. I'm going to add a paper bow, and I chose the one that I had that has a little bit of a pink pattern on it, and just adhering that down. Again, using some hot glue as well so it adheres immediately. And I'm going to tuck in a few of these beautiful, they're called white rhinestone flower with diamond centers. They're very tiny little flowers, and I'll make sure to link all of this down in the description box. So I'm just kind of tucking a few here and there. They don't overpower it, but they add such a pretty touch to it. I hope you'll be able to see that in the close-up photos. And to the center of my bow, I added a flat back glitter ball. And at the bottom here, I'm adding a flat back teardrop pearl embellishment. It was the perfect touch to the bottom of that mirror. Here I decided I needed a few filler flowers because I had a few holes in between some of my flowers that I wanted to fill. So I'm just using a few of the miniature sweetheart blossoms in white, and then I also added, I believe, 3 of the white sweetheart blossoms. I try and add an odd number of flowers, but I don't worry about that. If it needs 4 flowers, I add 4, but it is more pleasing to the eye to add in odd numbers, so I try to keep to that rule. So to finish this off, I added a few of these self-adhesive white and ivory pearls. They are self-adhesive, however, I did add a little bit of fabric tack underneath because I wanted to make sure that they were adhered permanently. And that was my project. This was so quick to come together and so much fun. I hope you enjoyed today's project. Check out both the description box and my blog for a list of all the Wild Orchid Craft products. And they have tons of new Christmas products listed as well, dies, and lots of stuff in their shop. So I hope you stop by, and thanks so much for watching.